Hi, thanks so much for joining in. You're watching Ask Profit on NDTV Profit, and my name is Alex Mathew. This show gets you answers to all of your stock-related questions. And to that end, if you've got those questions for us, you can send them on that number that you see flashing on your screen. We'll take it up in just a bit. Before we do, let's talk about where the markets are right now. And you have the equity markets, at least the benchmarks that are trading with gains right now, narrow gains to say the least. But we're in the green, and we have stayed in the green all through the session so far. Up about 0.2% and trading well above the 26,000 mark. Let's see if we hold in the rest of the session as well. The selling is visible at the broader end of the spectrum. So you're seeing both the mid-cap as well as the small-cap index that are trading with cuts. Mid-cap down about 0.5%, small-cap down about 0.3%, and the ranges have been narrow. But the market breadth, which was tilted in favor of the advances at the start of the session, has turned the other way and is now favoring the declines. In fact, quite a bit of a gap that is emerging, something that took place in trade yesterday as well. But you saw quite a late run on the Nifty 50. Let's see if that pans out again. Let's also pull up the sectoral performers and see which one is contributing today. IT is up and about in trade today after losing ground yesterday. It's 0.5% higher. The metal pack is once again in focus, 0.9% higher. There are some murmurs that China is taking a lot of action to bolster its economy. It is, in fact, a very rare instance of it. It's doling out cash to the vulnerable sections of society, and that's not something that it does very often. That announcement came through from its state broadcaster. That was something we heard this morning. And then there is another update not too long back, in fact, around 11 o'clock, where they were talking about the Politburo saying that there's a possibility of interest rate cuts. So seemingly the policymakers in China are taking increasing cognizance of the flagging economy, and there are steps that are likely to be taken to bolster economic growth there, and that usually bodes well for metals, the underlying, and therefore the metal counters today are outperforming once again. Let's talk about individual stocks, though. You have PB Fintech that is losing ground. There is a clarification that has come through from the company saying that they're not going to enter into the healthcare space, and it's down about 6.4% or thereabouts. And you have also a couple of other stocks that are reacting to stake sales. Ask Automotive, for example, is a share that fell on account of promoter stake sale. Yesterday, you saw quite a bit of selling in Ease My Trip, or Easy Trip Planners, as it is called. Let's see where it's currently trading. It's up about 6%, but yesterday it fell as much as 16+% or so. Now, let's talk about one of the underperformers among the large caps, and let's see where Hero MotoCorp is currently trading, because there was a UBS note that came through earlier, and they've cut their target quite significantly. The target that they set indicated a 44% downside on the stock, and Agam is joining in to tell you what they're saying. Agam, primarily concentrating on the weakening of what has been their biggest strength, which is the lower CC motorcycles.
That's right. Well, UBS has cut its price target on Hero MotoCorp, and they are now looking at it negatively at the moment. Well, they maintain a sell, and they've set a price target of around 3,350, which entails about a over 40% decline from even current market levels after the kind of weakness that we've seen in Hero MotoCorp today. The reason here is that, firstly, it has rallied about 20% from its first quarter earnings, but more importantly, there are concerns around its volumes at the moment. Now, as far as the September wholesales volume data is concerned, that comes in at around 6 lakhs against an expectation of 3 lakh. And the fact that this number is twice as much as what is expected, it indicates to a certain extent that the company is pushing inventories towards the distributors, and the full year retail volumes are lagging behind peers. They've also said that there's a significant underperformance when it comes to Hero MotoCorp as compared to a lot of its peers in terms of its growth. Also, they add that there's been a loss of market share despite the fact that the company has launched a handful of models coming in. And in fact, the retail market share for September stands at below 24%. So a lot of these concerns taken into consideration is the reason why UBS has a sell rating on the stock with a considerable downside as well.
much, Agam, for getting us those details. Of course, stock is under pressure. It is off the low point of the day, but still down about 2%. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it is the worst performer on the Nifty 50 even as we speak. Let's get on our experts for the day. We've got Kush Bohra, who's a founder of kushbohra.com, as well as Rajesh Agarwal, who's a head of research at AUM Capital. Thank you so much to the both of you for taking the time. Good morning to you. Rajesh, I'll come to you first. What do you make of what they were saying on the UBS note, the shrinking of what has been the bread and butter segment for Hero MotoCorp?
Good morning, Alex. Good morning, Kush. I saw the UBS report today morning and was surprised to see the targets as such, because the targets are substantially lower from what it is being quoting at this point of time. And with all due respect to UBS, I have my different opinions. I think the way wholesale volumes are going up, festival merit season are coming ahead, there are new product launches. It's the world's largest two-wheeler manufacturing company. Yes, of course, I agree that the market share has been falling in the last 2-3 quarters or so. But when I look at the valuations trading at a PE of 25, 26, FY26 earnings, I think it's on a comfortable level. And not to forget that they are going to start their Brazil operation from Q4 of FY25. The dispatch to Philippines has already been started. They're launching EV scooters in UK and Europe. These things are very exciting, I would say. Q1 numbers were good, 36% jump in bottom line, strong sales volume, rural recovery, everything was in their favor. And not to forget the kind of new launches that have been taken very well by the market. Extreme 125R, that has been a hit, I would say. And this September numbers may be a little drag, not only for Hero Honda, but the entire auto pack as such, because Shraddh season is going on. And people hesitate buying new cars or something of that sort in Shraddh season. But after 2nd October, I think when we enter into a festival season, Navratri, Diwali and all, again, auto numbers are going to be good. So what I feel is this kind of fall today, which we are witnessing 2%, again, if 1 or 2% more falls, it would be a good opportunity to accumulate for medium to long-term investors.
Okay, all right. That's an interesting point that you making on Hero MotoCorp, Rajesh. Thanks so much for that. It's time to start the queries, and there are quite a few that have come through already. If you're writing in for the first time, make sure to tell us what your name is, ideally where you're also tuning in from, because it'll help you identify when your question is being taken. The first one we're taking today is from Chandra. And Chandra is asking about PB Fintech. It's a stock that has been under pressure today. It is down about 6% even as we speak right now. And he's bought at levels of 1,800 or thereabouts. 50 shares is what he has. So he's witnessing a loss right now. Kush, the question is, should he hold on at this point? Of course, a clarification coming through from the company saying that it's not getting into the healthcare space. This is policy bizarre, of course. Kush, what's the view on the charts?
Hi, first up, a very good morning to you, gentlemen. Well, to Chandra, my suggestion would be to hold on. The stock seen sell-off over the last 3 odd sessions, but the volumes on all 3 sessions, including today, have been spiking. Now, there are 2 points that could give him some respite, some solace, which is the fact that the stock has a good support near the 1530, 1540 mark. If you see the day low for the day, for today, is also around that mark. Also, the stock has rebounded. So my suggestion, he is in a bit of a loss. 1800 was slightly higher buying price right now from where we are seeing. Hold on to this one, but keep a tight stop loss at 1530. If that level is broken, it could see further downside. But with the kind of moves that we've seen today, rebounding from lows, the stock could very well move to higher levels. Now his waiting period for 1800 could be higher, but on the whole, at the moment, he should not sell. Wait for some recovery.
Okay, fair point. All right. The next counter that we're talking about is CDSL. And this is a question from Lieutenant Sri Hari Talnikar, who's bought at levels of 660.19. The stock is trading well above that. He's holding 2,000 shares and he's looking at what the target could be over the long term. The 5-year period is what he has highlighted. Rajesh, perhaps you will not be able to look that far, but based on the earnings that you've looked at for this company, what are the prospects looking like?
The prospects are very exciting. First, let me congratulate the lieutenant on setting us on a good amount of profit and waiting for a long period of time. and still preferring to stay put for next 5 years. It's a very good company, no doubt on that. The numbers have been increasing month on month. We have seen DP account holder numbers going up. It's the only listed player in the space. NSDL has not yet been listed. So I think the kind of growth this company is showing, we expect around 15% CAGR growth in the next 4 to 5 years on the market cap basis. So I believe that you would, if time is not a constraint, carry on with the stock. It falls to around 1300, 1350 odd levels by any chance. It's a good opportunity to accumulate.
Okay, good opportunity to accumulate CDSL. So don't worry about that. In fact, Lieutenant, you've got a great price. A lot of people would be green with envy having seen the price that you bought the stock at. Let's talk about the next one, BSE. It's also a market-facing company, and in fact, we've got Shivam's question. Shivam has bought at levels of 4,066, which is slightly elevated. The stock is currently trading below the buy price. It's 3,775 or thereabouts. He's got 10 shares. He's asking, what should he do, given that it is losing ground right now? Kush, any insights that you can provide based on what you're seeing on the charts? I mean, it's gained quite significantly over the last 12 months.
Well, Alex, so what we're seeing in the last 2 sessions, including today, is a bit of profit booking. The stock had a vertical run, if you see, from 2950 levels all the way up until 4200. My suggestion would be to hold. Once this round of profit booking is over, the stock could move higher. Albeit, he may not see exponentially high profits even from a trading perspective, because the stock's already run up quite a bit. Here, the stop loss comes in at 3550. That's a strong support zone. That should act as your stop loss. But my suggestion would be that, if it's a purely trading bet, then you should start exiting once, your buy price is achieved. Because from a risk reward standpoint, the upside from here may not be, as great. 4200, the recent high, might start acting as a resistance. So hold with a stop loss of 3550 and start exiting partly and gradually once you see your buying price come about.
All right, Arvind, Smart Spaces is the counter that I want to talk about next. And this is a question coming from Satya. I was looking at the market capitalization just under 4,000 crore or thereabouts. And this is a developer that operates primarily in the Ahmedabad region. It also has some properties in Bangalore as well as in Pune. Any view on this, Rajesh? Would you buy for a period of 1 year?
See, yes, for 1 year, I would suggest a buy, because the land they're developing near Pune airport is going to be a good revenue generator, I would say, because when the Pune airport comes up, the land prices are going to go up. They're going to make good amount of profit. The projects are good. Valuations are reasonable. I think it's a buy from our side.
Just to elucidate the point further, Kush, anything that you would like to say about an entry price from fundamentals? Rajesh likes it, but an entry price for this counter?
I'm glad you asked me this, Alex, because what happens is that, after such a sharp spike, it does tend to get on traders and investors' radar. But this stock, if you see for the past few months, has had a tendency of moving anywhere from 10 to 25% and then correcting and consolidating for a longish period. Now, we've had that kind of move over the last 5 sessions. I would wait out, let's see, let the stock come down to the support zone of about 775, 790 thereabouts, and then start accumulating. Right now, the risk reward may not be as favorable. And as I said, the stock has a tendency of correcting and consolidating with a negative bias once it makes these, sharp up moves.
Okay. The next counter that we're talking about is DOMS. And the question is coming all the way from Canada. This is on DOMS, and we've got Himani, who's bought at levels of 1,781 or thereabouts. The stock is currently trading above that buy price at about 2,627, 498 shares. So a substantial profit being made by Himani right now. What are the long-term prospects? Stationary company. Rajesh, any view on this? Is a stock that has gained, it's doubled this year. It's done quite well for itself. Would you hold on? Would you take some money off the table?
I would take some money off the table. The valuation are quite stretched, I would say. If you look at the valuation, other companies like LinkedIn is trading at a highly discounted value where the DOMS is being traded. The brand is good, good reach in the entire educational space, but still looking at the valuations are stretched. I would take at least partial profit from the table.
Partial profits to be taken. We're going to take more questions. In fact, we've got several coming through. Bhavdeep has got the next one. BCL Industries is the name of the counter that he's talking about. He's got 900 shares, but he's not told us what his buy price is. Unfortunately, Kush, I do not know what his buy price is, or in fact, how long he intends to hold for. So, assuming that you've bought at some point this year, which is, it's not done too much, it's down about 11% or thereabouts. What should your targets, what should your levels be?
So, Alex, this is not a very encouraging setup. Now, if you see for the last couple of months, the averages have been on, a slightly upward trajectory, but on the whole, the stock's given way from the 200-day moving average or thereabouts and hasn't really held ground. And in fact, one of the not rare, but one of the few stocks where I've seen that on the way down, the volumes are higher. And in a lot of these names, you see, volumes thin when the stock is going down. Here, the case is quite contrary. So I wouldn't really venture a trade into it. If I do have this position, I will exit at the current juncture.
Okay. Let me take the next one from Neha. Neha writing in from Bengaluru, asking about two counters, but I will pick BF Utilities, making 18% gains. She's looking for the technical targets and strategy for the next 1 to 3 months. What would you do with this? It's a stock that has gained quite a bit over the last 12 months. But if I look at the last 6 months of that, it's been choppy and it faces resistance around the levels, Kush, that it is right now. Will it break past that is the question.
Spot on, Alex. You've made my work easy. The previous highs for this stock has been around this, 980 mark, at least on a closing basis. So if you have a position, my suggestion would be to book partially and hold the rest with a stop loss at 935. That is where a support zone comes in. Now, the stock gone up on very good volumes, and we've seen the follow through as well over the last 2 sessions, right after the breakout that we saw 4 sessions ago. So there's a good possibility that the stock could continue this momentum upwards, and I would hold the rest of the quantity for targets of 1050 and 1100. But yes, given the kind of triple top that this is seemed to be making, I would book partially at the current juncture, and as I said, hold the rest with stop loss at 935.
Okay. I'm going to take the next question from Mr. Venkatramani, who's writing in from Bengaluru, asking about CONAR. He's bought 590 shares at a price of 1,051. The stock is currently trading below that at about 890, so making a bit of a loss. Rajesh, I think a lot has taken place over the last year or so. Containers and the price of containers, the prices fluctuating, marine trade getting affected because of various reasons. What would you say about this for the long term, though?
For a long term, it's a buy. The kind of correction it has witnessed just because of the fact that some time back there were news in the media that government, which was earlier considering about disinvestment, has gone back onto that. So that was the reason we saw the correction. But if you look at the fundamentals of the company, it's a very strong fundamentals, strong numbers. It's one of the largest play, rather the largest play in the logistics space, I would say. A lot of land doing very well, railway siding, that business which was in a problem some time back had been solved. And these things are in favor of CONAR. I think one could go long on this.
Go long on CONAR. All right. If you're holding, hold on, and perhaps it's a good opportunity to add more with the dips that you've seen. 15 to 20% notional profit in Green Panel and PVR Inox. I'm curious about what Kush has to say about PVR Inox. Neelam from Jaipur is asking about this. And what are the suggested targets on this one? Kush, what are the levels that you would look at where you would look to take some money off the table?
Alex, the current price is also not a bad one because, there are multiple resistance points from a medium-term perspective, on PVR, and on the daily chart, you're starting to see a bit of a negative resistance, which suggests that, after the good run that it's had all the way from 1300, the stock could witness some profit booking. So if I have profit, I will take 50% of them off the table. The rest of them, I will continue to hold with targets of 1825 and about 1900, odd levels for positional bets. I guess this is the Marvel effect, after the announcement of Robert Downey Jr., the fortunes of stock has turned, although it's probably some time before the money starts coming in. For Green Panel, not a bad idea to book profits, at the current level. If you've got a 15-20% profit, because the stock is seeing a sharp run of profit booking and very close to support zone. So if it does break that, then it will go below. So green panel, take money off the table. PVR, book partially and hold the rest for targets of 1825 and 1900.
All right. So you've gotten a view on both. Dhansukla Barucha was writing in from Valsad. He's asking about IEX. It's a stock that has been in focus this week. It has lost ground. And this is on account of the buzz yet again of market coupling that has come through. Of course, since the levels that it controlled, I'm talking about the market share of over 90%, it has now dropped to about 84%. It's still a dominant player, but it is losing ground, and the question marks about the pricing. So from that perspective, if you bought at levels of 221, with the stock trading at, if I'm not mistaken, around 208 levels, so not too much of ground lost. Rajesh, from a relatively shorter term time frame, would you hold on to this?
Of course, I would hold on. See, if I look at the numbers, there were 19% jump in the volume in the first quarter. The numbers have been good. The only problem is the decoupling news, which has been going the rounds. 1 year back also this has happened. And again, from the last 2-3 days, this has been going there. But the things are still not clear whether they will be implemented right now or after 2 years. That's a big question. So nothing has been clear on that front. And the kind of knock this stock has taken is phenomenal. I think one can go long if it falls to around 190 odd levels by any chance. But at this point of time, it's a hold.
Hold. All right. Suson is the next counter that we're talking about. Manthan from Ahmedabad and Gujarat is asking about this. Bought 600 shares at an average price of 80. The stock is currently trading at 82. Should you hold or sell? Can hold for 1 year. Come back to you, Kush, on the technicals. How much steam is left in Suson is the question.
Looks like there is enough and more steam. Because if you see, as I said, a lot of these names that are run up, on the way down aren't seeing as big a volume, as it did on the way up, which is suggesting that, the selling pressure isn't really all that great. Now, that instills confidence. Nevertheless, I would suggest a stop loss of 75. That's a good, strong positional, a support zone. So if that is broken, then you might want to consider perhaps, exiting and consider a re-entry at lower levels. At the moment, continue to hold. Your stop loss 75. On the way up, there's a good possibility that the stock could hit 95. And if that is taken on perhaps even 110 odd levels in about a year's time. So Suson, the consolidation that is going through right now is a healthy one. Continue to hold.
Okay, VST Industries, very quick view on this one, and then we'll hit the rapid fire segment. VST Industries bought at levels of 428. The stock is currently trading at 380. Large investors selling. Anything to worry about? Ram Rao is asking about this. He's writing in from Ahmedabad. Rajesh, any view on this one?
See, the numbers are not that good, although they have good brands, but still I think it's better to exit and upticks. So any upside should be taken an opportunity to exit.
Okay, Ram Rao from Andhra Pradesh, my bad, I said Ahmedabad. It's time to hit the rapid fire segment, and gentlemen, you both know what this means. Do keep your answers as concise as possible. We will have 2 minutes to take as many questions as we possibly can. The first question coming through from Vijayawada, this is Naresh's question. He's asking about HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics, which he's bought at levels of 4862. The stock is currently trading at 4361. Would you hold or sell at this juncture at a loss, Rajesh?
See, if time is not the constraint, hold.
Yagnesh is writing in from Bengaluru, holding 34 shares of Reliance Industries at 2415. That will double not too long from now. He's got a long-term view, 10 plus years. Should he add more, Rajesh? Hold on. What's the view?
Add.
Add more. HFCL is the counter that we're talking about next. And we've got Subramaniam, who's bought at levels of 103. The stock is currently trading well above that. Kush, would you hold on or would you book some profits?
No, continue to hold. Positional stop loss at 145.
Specific question for you, Rajesh. This is from Kamath. Bajaj Auto is the name of the counter, bought at levels of 3,500. Would you hold on to this? It's well above that.
I would add.
You would add at this level. My goodness. Okay. This is a question from... this is on... okay, I'm not getting this counter. Mishra Dhatu. Okay, this is the next question we're taking. Harshita is asking about Mishra Dhatu. Kush, on the charts, would you buy this?
Sorry, it's taking a bit of a time to load, Alex.
Rajesh, okay, you got it?
I got it. I think this is a bit of a downturn. You might want to consider a tight stop loss at 375. That's broken. You might want to exit.
Okay. Devika from Chennai holding both REC and PFC. She's holding for the long term. I won't get into the prices, but Rajesh, on the fundamentals, if you're holding, would you continue to hold?
I would continue to hold.
Okay, we're out of time, but I think we've done reasonably well. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time, for answering all the questions that you did answer. And, well, viewers, hopefully we've been able to help you out over the course of the last half an hour or so. We did try to take as many questions as we possibly could. We'll be back tomorrow to take more, though, so I'd encourage you to join in at that time. In the meanwhile, there's lots more coming up on NDTV Profit, so do stay tuned.
welcome. This is Hot Money. I'm Agam Vakil.